Heat wave! Refrigeration. G'day, Tiny here from Off Tap Brewing. Apparently, where I live, we're currently going through a heat wave. Tomorrow's topping out at 39 degrees, and it's gonna be hot. I'm gonna feel every single degree of that all over me. So, hopefully, I'll get home tomorrow, throw a couple of these bad boys around. Anyhow, for a home brew Wednesday video, I think this is my number 4. As I said, I'm going to stop counting, but I'm going to lose count by 5 because then I have to change this hand, and if I change this hand, I'm going to drop the beer. So once I come to 5, that's it. There's no more counting. I guarantee it. Wouldn't want to drop a beer, especially if it was glass or a glass of beer. Either way, don't want to do it. Anyhow, one thing I wanted to discuss today for my Homebrew Wednesday topic was dry hopping. Been seeing a lot of videos out there. A lot of you guys out there have been smashing your videos. Watching a lot of people out there from New Zealand, from Scotland, from England, from America, and all you guys. You got magnificent brewing techniques. I mean, some guys out there are so smooth and flawless. Just do a video and that's it. I just made a beer. How hard's that? Man, I remember when I first was thinking about like buying a home brew kit and opening a tin and putting it in with a bag of dextrose. Far out, man, that frightened the shit out of me. Yeah, and now we can. This weekend I threw 150 litres down. I did a saison. I did an English bitter, another Pom's Breath, which you would have saw the video of already, and I did a Lager Boy Lager. Now, Lager Boy Lager got its name from Hobgoblin, it's a German IPA sort of brand. They got their slogan, "Afraid to taste something, Lager Boy." There's a little goblin thing on a shirt, and I thought that was just a cracker, man. I've got like bottles and shirts and stuff from Hobgoblin. I love their IPA range. It's great. So yeah, I did a Lager Boys Lager. That's one of my standard off-tap brewing recipes. People can buy it here. People can buy the speed kits here. Tip it in your fermenter, off you go. Anyhow, enough of that crap. On Sunday, I was laying in bed listening to the latest Beersmith podcast, Brad Smith with Nathan Smith. He was talking about saisons and the history of a saison. Intrigued me. So, what is it, podcast 50 from Beersmith. Intrigued me quite well. I woke up and then brewed a saison. Came out a little bit better than expected, alcohol wise or gravity wise. So I think I've got 50 litres. I'm going to do 25 litres at that gravity, and I'm going to water the other one down because it's nearly Christmas here and where you guys are. So obviously, so yeah, just a good Christmas beer. Like people can come over and just drink and you know, slave away. Do the cooking and cleaning, so I just serve beer and talk about beer. Another Christmas like that. Okay, all right. My main point of this video and the Homebrew Wednesday was dry hopping. Definitely dry hopping aroma in beer. Now, I've brought along a little guest today. I'll move that beer in, and I'll move this beer in. Yep, it's an Atomic Pale Ale from Gage Roads in Western Australia here. Any of you guys watch my videos in Australia, grab the Gage Roads. The beers are unreal. Oh, this is the second take of this video. I'm serious, I shit you not. In the first take I mentioned that I didn't have a freaking bottle opener, and I've put it away. Back in a second. Yep. Gotta love that. It should go in the bloopers, but I don't like editing, so it's not going to go in any blooper. But anyhow, a lot of talk around the place of people wanting to dry hop ciders, wanting to dry hop wines, all that sort of stuff, and I reckon go for it. Hops are an amazing thing that came to beer. Before hops, it was all spices and herbs, you know, heather tips and cinnamon and all those sorts of things. You know, it was just yeah, bit, you know. I'm glad we're in the hopping age. That's a good thing. But I wanted to do. It's hot. My air conditioner's on inside. I just got back from walking the dogs. It's stinking hot. 3:45 in the afternoon. My aircon's on inside and I'm sitting in a dank shed doing this video for you guys. Sucking back a few coldies. Anyhow, dry hopping. Why we do what we do and how to do it better. Okay, when you're dry hopping into a fermenter, I always find the best results for me to wait till the krausen ring goes down. For two reasons. First reason, when I dry hop in and I throw the hops in with the yeast, the krausen ring starts and brings the hop matter up to the top, and it's sitting on top of your beer. It's just sitting on top of your beer for the whole time, and then gets pushed off to the side and sits on your fermenter. So that's a no-brainer. Don't do it then. The other reason is a bit more scientific. CO2 scrubs out aroma. CO2, when you open a beer and you can smell it without your nose in a glass, that's because the CO2 is lifting the aroma out, the aroma molecules out, and putting them in the air. Well, those aroma molecules are eventually going to dissipate and the aroma will subside down to a very basic level, obviously. So why would we throw hops in when the yeast is so active, or at its most active in primary, what you guys call primary fermentation, I call stage 1 and stage 2 fermentation? It's pushing all the aroma out that you're trying to put in. And when you put your hops into your kettle and you're aiming for that hop addition as an aroma hop addition, and then you crash chill and then you ferment, same thing. That aroma is being scrubbed out. It's like a scrubbing pad running through your beer, pulling the aroma out. The best way to dry hop is to put it in little bags. Some beers I dry hop 4 additions at a time, but I throw 1 hop addition in, I'll leave it for 3 days, and then I throw the next one in, I'll leave it for 3 days, and so on and so on and so on. And that just puts flavour upon flavour, upon aroma, upon all these things, building blocks, foundations of your beer, like just building up. It's not like I've got a big handful of all these mixed hops and I throw them in and it doesn't know what to do. These things grab a hold, stay in, and build and build and build. Now, in saying that, when you're tasting beer, I've got a little experiment for you guys out there, hence the beer. You pour your beer, right? It's not a beer school. I don't know how to pour beer. I don't know how to review beer. I know how to put beer in my belly. That's all I know how to do. But what I do know is that is the perfect time. Oop. I got a bit. That is the perfect time to get the aroma of your beer, because the second after it's poured, the aroma is just disappearing. Disappearing. The CO2 is pushing it out. If you can put your beer down there, pour it and smell it, well, why is that? It's only got so much aroma in it. It can't last forever. The CO2 is scrubbing it out. It's lifting it out into the air. And actually that's a nice beer. Oof. It's a pale ale. Cold like my beard. Beard flavoured beer. Yeah, so that's the perfect time to smell a beer. Not once you've looked at the colour, not once you've, you know, oh, that's clear, oh, it's in a nice glass. Oh, that glass, well actually my glass is probably the dirtiest glass I've got in the house today. You know, I don't care. As long as this holds beer, as long as the beer's good, I don't care what it looks like. Anyhow, second part of the test. Smells good. Drink it. Oh, that's good. That's really good beer. It's got so much flavour. It's got all over your flavour buds with flavour. It's magnificent. It's 100% flavour. It's 100% flavour. It's 120% flavour. Now, hold your nose and drink. Swallow it all down. That's the true flavour of your beer. The true flavour. Now let your nose go and let the air come off your tongue. That's what the aroma does for your tongue. Our sense of smell is so highly in tune, it tells your tongue what it's tasting. The most fundamental part of a beer, and this is where kits don't get them wrong, when you buy the tin of goo and add the sugar, this is where they get it wrong. You cannot sell an IPA, or you can't even emulate an IPA as a home brewer unless you dry hop, unless you get that bursting hop aroma. Try it. I shit you not. Grab your most hoppiest beer. Grab a Punk IPA from Brewdog, or grab an Atomic Pale Ale, or a Sleeping Giant, or a Ranger Red, or something that's just out there in hops. Try the block your nose test. That's what you're wasting your hops on at your flame out, at your aroma. Your fermentation will scrub out that aroma, I guarantee it. I don't hop for aroma at that time. I dry hop when I brew my beers. It's a no-brainer for me. It's a test. Your nose governs your tongue, and that's with your food also. That's with your food. I mean, you can serve the crappiest food, as long as it smells good, it'll taste good. You know, it's amazing. Your sense of smell is actually amazing. It can unlock memories, it can unlock music in your head, it can, if you sat down and heard a song for the first time and were eating a bowl of spaghetti, when you heard that song again 10 years later, it would unlock the smell of spaghetti. You know, it's like, oh, smell. Amazing, amazing thing. Anyhow, Homebrew Wednesday. Rambling. For all you guys out there thinking about dry hopping and wondering about dry hopping, my advice to you, and what I have proven to work for me time and time again, is dry hop, single batch dry hop, as I do. This is what I do, not as I do, is what I do. Single batch dry hop after your Kreuzen ring dissipates, so your CO2 scrubbing is at a minimum. Be very gentle, open. You can put them in little bags, throw them in, pull them out, throw them in, pull them out. You know, go as many, do as many different additions as you want. You know, but yeah, just don't add it before. Don't add aroma before fermentation. It's just a really redundant process, I think. But that's just my opinion on a Homebrew Wednesday. Anyhow, I'm not having a homebrew. I've got English bitter, I've got a brew, I've got a Lager Boys Lager, and a Blue Dog IPA, which I dry hopped after the Kreuzen ring dissipated with some Zythos. It's crash chilling at the moment. I might go in with some Weirmere today. Oof, nice. I might go in with some Weirmere or something today, because I'm planning on probably kegging that one tomorrow, the next day, probably Wednesday I'll keg it. If I dry hop it today, I'll keg it on Thursday, and then I want to have that one for the weekend. I do. I'm sick of buying beer. Beer here in Australia is talking $50 for 30 cans. You know, it's costing me $12 to do 25 litres. Anyhow, so what beers are you guys drinking today? And if you had a heat wave, what beer would you do? What beer would you brew in preparation for a heat wave? I'm talking 39 degrees and humid. I'm talking humid, man. Like sticky, yucky. Anyhow, that's enough of my problems. I hope you guys out there have a happy Homebrew Wednesday. And remember that beer does make you smarter. Guaranteed. And drunker.